No.
Are we not allowed to
this
talk
week? So
about this?
everyone, geriatrics, let's talk about bowel movements and medications.
I was gonna say the problem, because I forget I have mine on, but then I've adjusted my computer so that the font is big enough. But then I spin myself at my computer doing this, so I can look through the bifocals. But if I take them off, everything's fine.
Sucks get old.
Right?
Beats the alternative though.
Yeah,
True.
So-
absolutely.
We're so old.
Here it comes.
Welcome to Everyone Racers.
A show designed for the world of low-dollar racing.
An oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Limit Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
As long as you drive it hard and build it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions.
Tips and tricks, as well as news and notes.
From the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, oh, sweet, when you're lucky enough. And Chrissy.
Chris,
And I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
Come
Helps to
on.
unmute.
Come
I was
on.
about to sneeze. So I
Oh,
Not my
fault. Right?
That's
Not
fine.
Jeff's fault.
Congratulations. This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm the Lord of Jankington, El Jefe.
And I'm mental.
Duke of
We're-
Jankington, wasn't it?
No, it was Earl. Earl.
You're right.
We're Everyone Racers. Welcome to another Z episode. It is episode 280. Nissan first introduced the 240Z, then the 260Z, then the 280Z from 1969 to 1978, but only made them in the US in 1975. You get the LSL L26 2.8 liter engine, 3-door sports coupe Zap edition in sunshine yellow with black stripes down the center and the sides. Fun fact, the car will be forever known as the winner of the 1973 East African Safari Rally. Did you know that?
I did not until you'd done that research. And
Yes.
my dad worked for Datsun, which is just cool.
Well, that's great. If you're not rolling in your 280Z through the hills of Africa, check out your E1R bingo card. Go ahead, Jeff.
Also, fun fact, first car that Jeff is aware of that he was over 100 miles an hour.
Oh,
My father borrowed it from a rally friend, and he said, I'm thinking about getting one. Now, he had a Datsun 2000, but that was a 2-seater. And he said, I'm thinking about getting one of these because it has a little back seat in it. I believe it was a 280, and he put it over 100 miles an hour, and he says, I think this one works. And then he got a German Ford Fiesta with the 1.9 liter Kent.
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, keep going. What you working on?
What am I working on? Work. Did you miss me, boys? I missed you. Sorry if you know that one. I've worked 7 days, several 12-hour days.
Speaking
So,
of bingo cards.
Yeah.
Right? Jeff works a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Check it off.
That's it. I didn't really do anything. I did do some virtual car work as a coworker who recently bought a Subaru is trying to get rid of the worst car
Subaru?
on the
The
planet.
Subaru?
Subaru. Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
Somehow her and her husband both got talked into a pair of matching Nissan Rogues.
Oh,
Two
worse than
of
a Subaru.
them?
And one of them did what they do and lost the transmission.
Two
And-
of them?
Yes, and this was during the time when you could not get new cars. So she was like literally like bumming rides to work and stuff.
Oh.
And she lives not too far from me, so she got her name on the list through a friends and family deal and got a Subaru Ascent, which is like the big 3-row thing. Looks like a
like a
Forester
Armada?
meets. Yeah, it's kind of big.
Forester with 110% on the copier.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. And basically left the Rogue in the front yard since the last 6 months or so, 8 months
Wow.
or so. And now it's like, I really should take that thing to CarMax and get rid of it. Does anybody have any jumper cables? So
Do
I've been doing
you?
a lot of turn it on again and put the phone near it. What's it doing? No. You need like an actual car to like jump start that, not like the little So I've been doing that for the last couple of days, but I actually haven't touched it because it happens like at night when I'm home. So
Okay.
was it.
Wow.
sorry, that's not a real story. I just thought it
Wait,
was.
did you fix it or did you break it? Because if you
No.
virtually broke somebody else's car, I will laugh.
I virtually did neither. I was doing lots of tech advice over the
gonna laugh
phone.
anyway.
This is like a when someone old person calls you and asks to fix their computer. It's like, where's the red positive cable? Describe what the battery looks like.
Seriously, do you know FaceTime?
It was like dark, so I couldn't really see it.
Still, like,
Yeah,
okay.
she did FaceTime me at night, and that helped it. But I was like, no, it's way dead than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be there sooner or later. I'll get that sucker started.
Great.
That's it. Mental. You had more fun things going on.
Well, my brother came into town. He brought his new wife. Her name's Gina. She is freaking awesome. So Vicky had already met her. I was out of town when they visited the first time, and he comes to Vegas often, but this time we took him on the locals kind of thing in Vegas. So we had dinner at the Golden Steer, which is where the Rat Pack used to eat. We sat at Mario Andretti's table. It was he's got his own booth there. And then we took him to some of our favorite local hangouts and introduced them to Fremont Street. And Saturday we went and saw REO Speedwagon, and yes, they are in their 70s, but they still got it. It was a really, really great concert. Then we went upstairs to the Ghost Bar on the roof of the casino at the Rio, and turns out the band came up there and hung out too. So we hung out with REO Speedwagon, and Carrot Top showed up.
Yeah,
This is
you
like
had
a
me
bingo card. This is a bingo card all right there.
You
Dropping
had
all
me at
those names.
REO
Carrot Top.
Speedwagon. You lost me at Carrot Top. My wife was looking at your Facebook. She's like, Mental's mother is still alive. I'm like, yeah. I think his father's still around too.
My stepmom, my mama is
okay.
is still alive. No, my mother.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my dad's still around too.
Wow. That's quite a list there.
Yeah, we did. We've been working, so now getting those rooms ready and get everything on there. We are now moving forward with some house stuff. That's great. And then as I posted on our Instagram on Sunday, I was once again with our buddy, John Polnick, the Der Fascination and the Rami show doing some filming. They're doing a review of JP's new backdate 911, which was a lot of fun. So I got to drive the chase car, which was an AMG G-Wagon squared. The G squared that they call it. It is just
87 feet tall.
It
Because
really
of portal axles. Yeah.
the first time I went to get out of it, because everything inside of it's like a regular G-Wagon, and I like almost twisted my ankle. I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm another foot in the air.
Oh, I know what
Wow.
that thing is.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're
portal
not
axles
short,
under a
so there's
G-Wagon.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it, oh god, in a straight line, it's faster than the other one. Anything the size of an F-250 should not move that quickly, but damn,
I'm sure it's great around the corners.
hold, yeah, no,
Turning.
absolute.
This is a
nightmare.
drag car, not a track
Well,
car.
it's pendulum, and like
Yeah.
the old regular G63, it would take a set, it would roll a little bit, but then it would hold it. But this one like sets and then comes back, and
And at that speed, it's
and-
kind of terrifying. Or
it
it's
really
so high up.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, and then it's
I
it's
feel like they
not
only
actually.
made that.
Go ahead.
I feel like they only made that for people in the Middle East to basically say, I bought the more expensive one that goes
Oh.
through the desert better.
I thought you meant drive
Yes.
over people.
Yeah.
You're both saying correct things.
But it's
And,
the plebes. It's not like,
I mean, of
insurrectionists.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Duh.
it was, and then like trying to left foot brake it. If you use your left foot and get enough braking pressure, it completely disconnects the throttle by wire. Also fun to discover in the middle of a corner. If you're in the market for a
Absolutely insanely
G
large,
squared.
fast vehicle.
I think you'd be happier with the regular
But it's
Good.
not as
This is a
showy.
great-
You can't say
great
this
review.
one's twice as expensive. That's the problem.
So.
Yeah.
And I think I'm done name dropping, but I'm not entirely sure. But, that video will be coming out, and it's actually worth a watch. The day was perfect, and the camera footage.
It looked nice. It was. You posted some good pictures.
Chris, you
were doing
piloted
car.
something,
You were actually
right?
doing important things. Yes,
I worked
Yes.
on other people's cars. I tried and unsuccessfully to clear a leak out of Chrissy's friend Allison's 03 250,000 mile Accord. I cleaned all the sunroof drains out. Turns out it's the seal between the sunroof and the body. So that's going to be a harder project.
Darn.
But we tried the easy thing first just to see if that was
And
going to
she
work.
and I got to sit in the kitchen and chat. So that was good
Yeah,
too.
while I gave it a vacuum and a Rain-X and all the things that
That's
happen
very
when
nice
a car
of
comes
you.
for service. And then Chrissy's sister car came over with Chrissy's sister's husband, and I guided him on replacing valve cover, gasket, spark plugs, coil, and serpentine belts on the Scion XB. Had a weird failure though. It had a cylinder 3 misfire. We swapped coils, didn't change it. So we said, okay, we're gonna have to replace some things. But it was all a result of the valve cover gasket leak that was getting down into the cylinder wells and other places. Turns out the electrode on one of the spark plugs had broken. So when we got the plug out, like the bit in the end,
That's your problem right there.
I could just pull it out. So that's that.
I've seen that.
Yeah, the electrode that goes from where the coil attaches to the sparky bit at the end had broken in the middle.
this feels. Were you able to get it all out of there? Because if that starts,
it wasn't the porcelain, it wasn't that, and it didn't drop out because it had, the hook on the end of a spark plug caught the bit there, so it didn't get any further. And I mean, it was an NGK plug that probably had 80,000 miles on it. So
it's a baby.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
So I did all that other people's car stuff, and in other news, I flew a plane.
Da-da-da!
Da-da-da!
Finally saw the plane that some others and I have purchased quite a long time ago.
But most importantly, was it your plane? Yes. Okay,
yes.
good.
Yes. Flew our plane. So I actually have an instructor now, and I have actually seen and flown the plane, and I have a booked for the next time, and I'm pushing forward with plane stuff. But it's fun to have actually flown our plane.
And just so people at home are playing 142?
Cessna 150.
150. Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep. It is the 1998 Toyota Corolla of airplanes, basically.
I was going to say it's the Miata because it's always
No,
the
it's
answer.
not. It's not as sporty.
Not sporty. Yeah.
Not sporty. It's gonna get you where you need to go. They made 1 billion of them. Easy to work on. Easy to do everything. Great parts availability. Yeah.
Cockpit's pretty small though. Yeah.
Oh, it's tiny. Yep. I had to find
Great.
an instructor that was smaller than me to make sure we could actually take off with more than a couple gallons of gas.
Truth. Like legit.
Yeah.
We had to turn people down. Anyway, while Chris was doing that, I was doing more housework. I've moved on to a different room in the house. When you walk in the door, if you ever did walk in the door, there is a very large bookshelf to your right. And I started cleaning that off. So did a lot of stuff to give away and move stuff around because it's just one of those catch-alls. So still a little bit more to do, but working on it. So that's what I've been doing.
Why don't you just roll us right
I
into
will.
news and notes time?
Sure, General Motors is leaning into electrification like most OEMs, but don't fret, internal combustion loyalist. Peter Holdreth at The Drive gives us news about the next and possibly the last generation of the venerable small block V8. In a press release this week, the General confirmed a $854 million investment into the facilities that will make the sixth generation small block V8. Stating the engine will power their line of full-size pickups and SUVs. This news comes after GM has started a transition to electric only by 2035. The small block Chevy dates back to 1954. Modern versions have the same bore spacing and a few other features with the original. The fourth gen arrived in 2005. The current fifth gen version was first in 2014 Corvette C7. News are the link in our show notes.
Don't forget, these will also be in junkyards almost immediately from people crashing them, and several years later become the favorite for swappers into all kinds of crazy, silly vehicles. Because
Yep.
GM.
We hope.
Yep.
Oy.
That's-
Well, I say F dealer markup and flippers. And I'm sure you'll join me. Joel Stockdale recently reported in Autoblog that 2 high-profile cars for markup and speculators just hit all-time lows on, dare I say, third-tier auction site Cars and Bids. Is that fair? Third tier?
He moves a lot of cars.
He
and
does move a lot. Doug
he gets
DeMuro's
featured a lot on our buddies over at the Bid Nerds. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
Doug
third tier.
DeMuro's running a good site, but I wouldn't say it's the highest. I'm not going to say anything bad about the website. I want to say that his cars are not the most prestigious cars. It's fun, enthusiast cars, cool cars, and bits. But anyway, so Doug DeMuro said it was happening, and now his website proved it, that the bubble is bursting. A Corolla GR on a no reserve auction gavelled at $48,550, which is about $8,500 above MSRP. And the seller admitted that it was a substantial loss and lower than just about all the dealers currently have it on their showroom floor. The other was a Civic Type R, which y'all remember that, right? It gavelled, or I should say it ended at $49,000, which is only about $5,000 over the sticker. The sticker in the ad showed a dealer markup of more than $20,000.
I'm throwing up right now.
Yeah, the final price was $67,678.95 on the sticker. Of course, the person who was selling it on Cars and Bids did not sell because it had a reserve, and he won't say what they actually paid for it because he's still trying to sell it, but something tells me it's a lot closer to $67,000 than $49,000. So dealers and flippers out there, screw you. If you speculated and you just paid a lot of money for that Corolla GR, I hope you like it.
Well, I don't understand how you thought you were going to out dealership a dealership.
Now, you're not wrong, but there are lots of people who get in line for that next Corvette and immediately flip it to somebody who just didn't get in line as fast as you.
This kind of thing is all about how well you bought it. And it doesn't sound like these guys bought it well enough to try to do this. So, oh well.
Nope.
So Ferraris, talk about cars that are frequently paid
Flipped.
too much for and flipped. Yep. They're also defined by several other features, one of which is the sound. But in an era of electric and hybrids, how's that going to work? So Owen Bellawood at Jalopnik tells us that the House of the Prancing Horse is doing something about it. Rather than a synthetic speaker like we saw at SEMA, they still want an honest noise coming their first all-electric supercar, the SF90, due for release in 25. According to a recent patent application, Ferrari is looking to amplify the sounds made by the electric motors powering the car. From Bloomberg, quote, the patent covers a reproduction device for the realization of a sound that can be associated with an electric motor. That's definitely translated from Italian. Ferrari has declined to comment, but if it's put into production, it would allow Ferrari to amplify the sound from one or more of the EV's onboard motors. This would then be routed through the rear of the car to let that wail be heard by everyone within a few miles. Okay.
What are you foreseeing? Like a little a like microphone next to it that goes to an amplifier, or like a jack shaft to like one of those old like air raid sirens, like
Yeah, it's got to be a speaker.
Yeah.
It's easier to run 2 wires and put a speaker wherever you want than have to.
Yeah, that's true.
do the rest.
I would not be surprised though to see Ferrari actually design something that just makes a racket that could be designed quietly.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
It would be a
yeah.
like, effectively the mechanical version of putting a baseball card in your bicycle spokes.
But that's what I was
totally.
thinking, like some sort of fins that would make a sound and also cool the motor. I don't know. It's Ferrari. They just might like unbalance it and let it like shake a lot or something. I don't know.
No problem with that plan.
All
Anyway.
right. We're going to be talking about how to make cars more fun. And maybe you're down with this, but you don't have a fun car just yet. But my awesome co-host scoured our friends at Racing Junk, and they came up with this legitimately awesome track-ready Miata NA. It is only $4,200. This thing is really, really cool. They did the NB brake upgrade. They've got a fitted fiberglass driver's seat, a god awful Kirky passenger seat, but that's not your problem. That's for your passenger to go in there. They've got a JDM 1.8 liter in there, so no nose wobbling 1.6. The 5-speed, they've had the flywheel lightened. It's got a hardtop, which is worth $2,000 alone. Really, or if you're trying to find a good one. The adjustable conies, it's got eye box, a lower strut brace, flying Miata sway bars, a hard dog roll bar, fiber, the whole 9 yards. It's on 15-inch wheels with 200 treadwear Falcons, and comes with another set of wheels and road tires so you can drive it to the track. The seller admits it's got a couple of dings on it from some low speed people backing into it, kind of a deal, but it comes with a title and it's track ready, not race ready, but track ready. You throw a $1,200 weld it yourself cage in there and you are ready to go racing. This is a fantastic deal. I love this thing.
Go back to the picture real quick.
Yeah.
And it's pretty straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's got some bolted on fender flary things.
which probably
Right now
means it's got, wide wheels and spacers.
Perfect for an HPDE or time trial kind of fun, just fun, good, cheap fun right there.
Yeah,
I feel like it's done a lap at crap, what's that track? I just lost it.
CMP.
Carolina Motorsports.
CMP, thank you.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's in Camden,
'cause
South
right there
Carolina.
It's in Camden, South
It's in
Yeah.
Camden. It's probably done several laps there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the NAs are still abundantly in junkyards. At least they are around here. So you can get all the cool stuff for it. This is a great deal. I am geeked about this.
Yeah, would purchase, would hoon, would have a good time.
Totally. Absolutely.
Cannot too
All
far
right.
away. Don't have money.
Yeah. And so if you're looking for a
Don't
fun
need
way
it.
to get it, get
Just
a
saying.
cheap car, you don't need a G-Wagon squared.
That's
You just
true.
need a fun, hurling, throwing around fun car.
They're
and
like
you
the
can
same
always
money
find it.
though, so it's
Yeah.
like
And
really,
we've all spent
really
more on
comparable.
stupider stuff than that Miata. So
Totally. Oh, and we've spent more on super Miatas. And this is the great thing about Racing
Not me.
Junk, because it's always free to browse, always free to place an ad. But if you want to get like all those great ads, you're trying to unload some stuff to make money for a Miata, check out racingjunk.com.
Yeah, if you're,
classifieds of the Everyone Racers.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you're trying to flip your GR Corolla, you're gonna need more than one picture. So just pay the
Also,
$19.
don't flip your GR Corolla.
You're right.
Not
you're
on,
right.
yeah, don't.
Right?
in any way of that
Anyway,
word
I
would
was
be-
thinking of the flipping this way. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
let's not flip it that way.
Okay, so we don't really have any upcoming races, but we had Rally Master Jeff Stobbs on last week, and next Monday starts the Retreat from Moscow Rally, which starts right up there in Garage Heroes Land and drives down to Alabama. Does it end in Alabama? Where's it end?
Yes. At
Yeah,
Barber's.
Barber. Okay.
Just read the copy.
I'm vamping, can I say? 19 vehicles will leave from up there in the snowy wilds of PA and finish in Alabama. 9 big American cars, 5 Japanese imports, a Lexus, a Beamer, a Mercedes, a French car, Peugeot 505. Follow along on Instagram with the hashtag Lemons Rally, one word. We posted the list here for all of the podcasters to comment on. Anybody see anything fun?
I have to point out that you wrote that you're the slightly warmer climate of Alabama. I'm pretty sure Barber has been some of the coldest races of my whole entire life. So there's that. And I live in
Atlanta
Texas.
has been the coldest races I've ever attended, and that's
Yeah.
supposed to be hot in here.
They're 2 hours from each other. Well,
Yep.
yeah. It's
I mean-
I don't know. I like the Jeff. I don't know if you saw the 81 Lincoln Mark VI.
Yeah.
The Peugeot has me intrigued.
Very.
And also
I mean,
the
the
Suzuki
suit. I was
Samurai. because
Samurai. I was just
this
going
is
to say
a-
this.
It's a long drive in a 60 horsepower tractor.
It's going to be a long day.
That may or may
Long
not
time.
turn over depending on
Yes.
what you do with it.
Mhm.
When I
I've
met
kind of
my
been-
wife, I had a Suzuki Samurai.
Mm.
I would have a Samurai in my fleet if I could, But the one that interests me the most is the Jeep Comanche. I love that little pickup.
I think getting parts for a Peugeot is probably not.
Oh, totally.
I guess that's part of the fun, though.
But I feel like if you've already committed, to having a Peugeot, you knew that. You knew
Let's
that when
hope
you
so.
started.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully get some points. Be interesting to see. Check it out. Keep watching. They do such a great job of posting photos. So I'm sure we'll see some really good ones. I'm wondering which one doesn't have a roof. I mean, besides the obvious ones, but I'm sure
The
there's
Samurai better be a convertible. One of the
but I'm sure
hardtop
there's other
Samurais,
ones
that's
that-
like, ugh, don't bother.
Ugh.
Oh, listener feedback time.
So even though I'm not driving the Mercedes, somehow it picked up a nail in the tire again.
I was going to ask this. I mean, how many flats do you get when it's just sitting there?
I guess it was in there and just got pushed all the way in. So I drove it up to my tire shop, and literally the guy comes out and he goes, this is for other car. Yeah. Because they know me.
You buried the
Put it
lead.
on there.
You drove it in the passenger seat of your Miata.
Yes. So I took it up there, the passenger seat Miata, and I posted something snarky on Instagram about how losers have to lecture their tires in the penalty box. And I just like mine so much, I take them out for a drive when it's nice.
Yep, that's about right. DC Doug posted the "Sorry for Party Racing, Don't Wheel Me, Bro" shirt in response.
Which I
Nice.
still don't have one.
Still don't have one. Somebody
What?
got to get me one.
Tam,
What?
Tam,
I have
Chrissy, you didn't hook us
other.
up.
I also have other premium shirts that nobody else has. So I guess I should. It's okay, Tim. Michael K asked if you were switching over to your snow tires.
Funny
Funny.
joke.
Right?
I understand
right?
both of those words. All right, yeah.
Yes. We also got some comments on the flag behind Jeff Staub's head in the last episode.
This was the hot dog on the Segway, correct?
Correct.
Don't step on your wiener shirt. And Steph the Pef simply observed in her most eloquent way, dong.
TDI Soar Racing said that flag at Gingerman was
Nice.
hilarious. And of course, the entire show on YouTube had some comments as well.
Michael K liked our TR7 of the Mary F. Kill rally cars ending. My teammate did a Lemons rally in a TR7.
Tim B commented about the spec Prius discussion and said spec smart car. He also mentioned he is, quote, looking forward to doing a rally probably in 2024 in his 59 El Camino once it's running under its own power, of course. 59 El Camino. That's like the Falcon base. No, not Falcon. What is it?
It's the Impala base.
Impala
yeah.
based.
Got
Okay, yeah. The bat wings. Yeah.
That was the first year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is a beautiful car.
Well, Tim, go for that. That sounds wonderful.
Have a good time.
You
know who?
El
Okay.
Camino.
You know.
She had a Cutlass Sierra, though. That's pretty much the same
Yeah,
thing.
it is. Same thing.
That'd be Chrissy's mom?
Yeah.
Did Chrissy's mom have an El Camino?
No, Cutlass Sierra.
What
And a
was
Nissan
the?
Quest. Then a
I was gonna
Mazda
say,
5.
What
Come
was
on,
the
these are all
craziest
like an El
car
Camino.
that your mother drove?
What was before they had the Datsun? She had an Aspen? They had an
What kind of-
Aspen.
Yeah,
I
what
think.
kind of
She had an
Datsun did
Aspen.
she
She
have?
had a
She had an
78
Aspen. My dad had a 210. That's
a good
how.
car.
That's how. I don't know, but good.
There's an Aspen.
these are good
There's an
cars.
Aspen on the Lemons rally.
But there's also our friends from my coworker who we battled in Class B. I'm pretty sure. Didn't she say it was
That's an
yellow?
Aspen.
Yeah,
She had
no,
a
no, no, no.
78 two-door yellow Aspen.
Oh,
So I showed them pictures. That's what I remember. Yes, I showed them pictures.
No, and
of
yeah, it's
Dan's.
yellow now. That's awesome.
Yes, theirs is yellow. Hers was yellow. Yes, anyway,
That's
she said it's just like
cool.
that. Anyway,
So if you want
Enough
to
about
battle
that.
for the lead of your class at a Lemons race or any other race for that matter, paint your car the same color as anything Chrissy's mom owned.
Gray.
gray.
Just gray. It's all gray. Everything's gray.
Oh, the Quest was a little on the purpley
was
side. It was kind
bluish
of
gray.
bluish
Yep.
gray. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, it's
Now that chopped pretty heavy. It's main topic
Yeah.
time, everybody.
No?
Somebody who brought this to our attention. You should
Chris.
introduce this.
I did. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I saw this and GRM posted this up, and we keep stealing ideas from GRM, but we're going to use this as a jumping off point. 'cause
It's
once
winter,
again-
everybody. We got to
Yeah.
steal eyes from somewhere.
And this time it was David Wallens. And the idea I thought was great is how to make playing with cars more fun, because that's why we do this. And I think we forget about that sometimes. But this is supposed to be fun. No one listening to the show, no one on the show is making a living doing this. Nope,
Mhm.
not in any way, shape, or form. So if it's not fun, why are you doing it?
Love
So-
it.
Because everybody else does it.
Right, but make it fun. Find your way to make it fun. So we're going to talk about ways that
Is
both the
drinking on
article
this
said-
list? Damn it, it's not.
no, but it should be, but it can be.
Why didn't you add it? It
I
was
just
added.
thought of it.
We've added our own here, and so anyway, we're going to talk about some of the ones that they said, but also we're going to add our own, and we're not going to go through all of them. You can read the article, link in our show notes, or just go to GRM and find it. So let's get started. How do you keep wrenching fun?
Go ahead,
Right,
you
anyone
go
wanna
because
start us
you
up? Me start us up.
yeah.
All right.
Well,
Well,
you're first one.
I'll give a couple thoughts on this, and then some other people can take over on the wrenching fun. The one that GRM said, it says, "Let there be light."
Oh
Working
my
in a
gosh.
poorly lit shop is terrible, 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 terrible. The only way to go is more light than you think is reasonable, and that's about right. You really can't have enough work light in a shop.
And
Like, we
we've
put in a whole bunch.
we've all done it. We've all gotten our, we borrowed a garage, we rented a garage, we had our first garage, and it's got that 125-watt light bulb, and you don't even think about it. And now the last 4 houses I've moved into, before I even start wrenching, while everything's outside of the garage, more lights, and LED strip lights, not the cool decorative kind, but just actual shop lights. They plug into each other. They mount with 2 friggin' drywall screws,
Yeah.
and they are so cheap at Harbor Freight or on
Barina.
Amazon.
Barina LED lights. It's
It's the sun, is what it is.
so we have in the basement is the
It's
Barina
the
ones.
sun.
We put
It
the-
hurts
we
your
put the-
eyes.
We
It
put the
does.
T8 fluorescents in the garage before LEDs were common enough, but they are still super bright and haven't burned out, so I can't really replace them yet.
But we have pictures of us legit making our first roll cage with, I guess we had the light that comes with the garage, but we also were doing
The
using a
single
lot.
bulb, yeah.
No,
But
it
we
was
were-
the garage
double?
door
The
openers.
garage,
The
no,
garage-
the
openers.
garage door openers.
They have 2
Oh.
bulbs on each side, and we put brighter
That's what
bulbs.
we're-
in
Bigger
those,
bulbs.
That's what we were
enough that they-
using.
enough that they melted the covers. Because
Still like that.
right?
Still
They
now.
are. And,
Yeah.
and one of them, the lights just don't even work anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
No light.
I
That's-
agree to all of this. Here's a safety tip that I'm sure all of my electrician and electric engineer friends will tell me that I'm crazy for doing. But I bought those cheap linkable like LED shop
that's
lighty
what
things.
Mental just talked about.
No, I know that. I have like 9 of them in my garage that all link to each other and then go to a power strip, like where I can reach it. And it's just plugged
You
into
see
the wall.
the
and then
safety
it's-
professional having an aneurysm right now, right?
Are you kidding me?
No, you can make them.
They're so
pluggable.
low voltage.
Yeah,
It's
pluggable's
still
okay.
not great. Oh, now daisy chain to each
Yeah,
other?
no, that's
But
they're
that's how
designed
they're
to
The
do
designed.
that.
lights,
It's okay.
the lights will they
All of
they're
them?
designed.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
In
actually
fact,
designed to do that.
says, I think it says limit of 9.
Hey,
It's the
I'm-
end of the power strip.
I'm
that
at the
bothers
limit.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
No way, Jeff. You're at the limit. All right.
'Cause he's
Next-
Go
got
on.
to see all of his junk because he's not going to be working in the garage.
It's true.
Right.
All right. The next 2 are ones that I'm adding. These are not original ones. One of them is good and or specialty tools by Happiness. And I'll use the example of adjusting the valves on a Honda. There is a special tool that you get that makes this a incredibly easy job. And without that, you're taking a long time to work the red, do the thing, and it takes forever. Where once you have the right tool, it's just bam, you're done. It's fast and easy. So I think don't skimp when it comes to specialty tools for the right things and good quality tools, as opposed to that adjustable wrench and pliers that you got at the gas station that once.
during a
Chrissy.
lemons rally.
I'm just going to add to that real quick because I wrote my answers down the bottom and I didn't add them to this. Wired versus not wired. I mean, nobody uses wired tools
Wired
anymore,
what?
but
Tools. Oh, okay.
corded tools with
Corded
cords.
tools. Corded
Got
tools, yes.
Or lights with cords, or most things with cords. I just am thinking back to the times when we used to use things with head cords, and that was just annoying. And you have to plug it in, and that's dumb. So I think get good tools is what I'm agreeing with you. That I think there's value to. You're going to be working with them. Make it work.
Good tools, like they don't slip off the bolts. The pliers actually like ply. The ratchets don't take a really long time to connect to the next click, so that you're like when you're doing that really tight space, you can't work on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No one
All
has
the
taught
ways-
me more about arc spacing than Project Farm. When he tests a ratchet, he does some great, like, this one goes every seven degrees it clicks.
That makes wrenching so much easier.
Love it. 90
I've
tooth
got-
gear wrench was like the greatest thing I ever bought.
I got two more. One of them I didn't write down yet, but I'm going to add now. It sucks to work on things that are really dirty. So take a minute.
You live by this.
And clean it off. Like pressure wash the thing you're going to work on, or just wipe it off, clean it off, because otherwise you immediately end up a slime monster. Because once it's on your hands and you touch everything else, now everything's dirty, and now you've just spread it everywhere. So if you take a few moments just to have a cleaner workspace, a cleaner project, cleaner everything, it makes all of that wrenching so much happier.
You're not wrong, although I never do it. I'm always a gritty kitty.
Here's looking at Jeff. Your
Yeah.
brother is just as bad, sometimes worse.
Yeah, you
Just
got.
saying.
There's a reason one wall of my garage is covered in greasy handprints.
It's me.
It was from
No, it
You
was from
and-
Jim.
Oh, was it?
both of you getting up out of the ground after doing. Yeah, covered in greasy handprints. Anyway,
Sorry.
and last,
I'll bring
it's
some
okay.
white paint next time.
That's fine.
No.
No, the garage. We need to do a lot of work before we
Memories.
can get to white
Memories.
paint. Right. Last thing I've got on wrenching is keep the clutter under control to facilitate the working. If there's so much clutter, you can't do anything. You can't find your tools. You can't receive. You can't do anything. It's miserable working when you can't move. Do it. Throw stuff out. Like, yes, you might need that hose some project 20 years from now, or you can just go buy another one for $4. Get rid of the stuff so that you can use your space and can move in your space. That's all.
And this is a trait I find so much among endurance racers is we have this wonderful and positive outlook where we see potential in everything. And oh, this orphaned piece of metal might have a purpose someday in the future. But when the first 30% and last 30% of your project time involves moving things to get to this thing, it stops being fun. And I preach this, and I still have to learn this lesson every 5 years. And I'm in a purge cycle right now because I'm tired of having to move things to get to things. Put it up on the one of the Facebook groups. Does anybody need this thing? I can bring it to the next race. Otherwise, boom, big trash day. It's gone. Or take it to the metal recyclers and buy yourself some beer money, because we all forgot to put drinking if you're not in recovery or don't drink for that kind of thing. And even if you are, you can bribe other people or buy Cokes or whatever your favorite drink is on those right there.
That's all from me on wrenching. Someone else take over the wrenching topic.
Hashtag targeted on the last couple comments. I'm joking. I'm going to talk something
You're
about
not
the
wrong.
old. Yeah, I know.
Nope, you're not.
Let's talk about the oldest, dirtiest, grungiest guy that you're going to know and you're going to love. He's your local machine shop guy. Machine shops are a dying, losing, lost art. This is from the article. Know your machine shop is from the article. It's my comments. Finding a good one and knowing a good one and keeping it afloat in your local neighborhood is so important. We're in a disposable society, and if you can get someone to turn those brake discs or hone your block or whatever, it's worth their weight in gold. Know thy local machine shop.
I would argue also they chances are they've raced. I haven't never met a machine shop owner
Or
who didn't at least-
flown or whatever.
yeah, who didn't compete in something, and they can usually, hey, could you hone this out? What are you doing with it? Well, we're building an endurance racing car. Oh, well, you know that this block is prone to this failure, blah, blah, blah. Here's a workaround. They have wisdom.
Absolutely. They are sages in the way a motor can work. So talk to them.
Yeah. I also think that this is one of those things where it's your money, your checkbook is better than time sometimes, depending on what you're doing. I know we've used a local machine shop that I'm not sure if they race, but they took the head to the Honda, I think, a couple times to fix it. And it's just one of those things where it's easier to just give somebody else that knows what they're doing.
No, they totally build racing engines. The guy that does the engine machine shop used to work for Penske building their Indy stuff.
Got it.
Yep. Since you live in Penske land, it's not a surprise.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Here's the next one I'm going to say. And it says, if all else fails, read the directions. And I'm going to take that a little different direction than the article. I'm going to say that the value of what you can learn by reading or watching a YouTube channel or doing this or doing that is really valid way to learn to be a wrench, and just getting out there and working a little bit past your comfort zone all the time, but getting yourself re-comfortable by reading and reading and reading. Like, seriously, like knowing torque specs and, reading the step-by-step process on how to do something is very valuable, even if you've been around the block a bunch of times, because who knows when you're working with that new motor where the transducer wheel is that runs, so follow the directions, watch a YouTube, learn before you dive in.
You love YouTube.
I do.
It is an excellent way to learn things on there.
Oh,
but
I agree.
And I'm going to tie the two things together, because Chris talked about specialty tools and YouTube, and certain specialty tools are absurdly expensive. Mercedes owner. There was also, when I was doing work on a Volvo, it was a $150 specialty tool to lock the cams in place if you were doing any work under the valve cover gasket. And I went on YouTube and I found any number of YouTube videos that were like, oh, we're going to teach you how to do this.
Here's how to build it
without the specialty tool. And every one of them involved wedge, screwdriver. And I'm like, nope. And in that case, if they start saying things like wedge this, weld this, beat this with hammer, just buy the specialty tool on that one. If they're saying, hey, and a lot of times you can resell these things in specialty communities on social media, but I'm going to jump into my thing on this.
On some of that though, like for Mazda motors, the MZRs, there's a specialty tool to lock the cams in place. It works just as well.
Or a drill bit.
No, a piece of flat stock that's about 1/8 inch, you could jam into the side, not jam totally, but there's a slot and it fits exactly on the side of the cams there and holds them perfectly, for example. Or if you need something, make some tools. Sometimes it's so much better to make tools and be frustrated. Like example, the flywheel on our outboard motor, it's outboard motors on top, stator's involved in there, and it's not coming off with anything I could figure out. So I took some 1/4 inch plate and welded some other 1/4 inch plate to it and drilled a big hole in it and attached that to a puller, and that pulled that thing right off after I struggled with it for at least an hour. It took me half an hour to make the tool after I'd struggled with it for an hour doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. So Chris talked about clean stuff off, because it is depressing and annoying and frustrating to work on filthy things, and everything becomes filthy because you're spreading it out there.
This is Jeff should feel targeted.
No, not
Okay. That's no problem.
He's okay with that.
At the end of the day, as Chris pointed out at the very beginning of this segment, none of us are getting paid to do this. This is supposed to be fun. So really, if you think about it, we're just live action role playing. We are pretending to be race car drivers while we're racing cars. And if you're going to do that, look the part. Clean the car up. If you've got a cool theme, go with that cool theme. But why not have a cool looking car? Why not have a wild looking car? We highlighted on some of our listener feedback. Someone actually spent money on the good looking suit from Race Image. Look good. Yeah, get that hero shot with that good helmet under your arm. I'm just going to say that. And I didn't take this. None of us took this, but I'm going to real quick just do this last little bit because we're talking about always be aware of fire. And as I talked about last week, when I went to go do a show with our friends Rami, all right, this is something that we weren't even trying. This was in his garage. The 930 caught fire. Fire doesn't let you know when it's coming. Things just catch fire. Have extinguishers everywhere.
That's kind of a 930 thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so
No
just
news.
so DJ 914 isn't crying while he's watching the show, was the 930 okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Small fire.
Small fire.
No problem. there.
930 wise, it was very small. If you watch any of Rami's stuff, you do see his G-Wagon, his first G-Wagon, burn to the ground.
Oh, that's not okay then.
That's why I got the 2X one.
Yes, apparently
Oh
not.
no, that was 2 G-Wagons
4X
ago.
one,
But
whatever.
yes, but it again, fire. Always expect the fire. It's always have an extinguisher.
Good idea.
All right. I feel like we should move on to the next section.
Okay.
Oh no, Chrissy still got to go. Did
Chrissy
you?
had
That's
one,
fine.
so.
Oh, I'm
I just
so
have one.
sorry. So sorry. So sorry.
PPE is very important. This is from the article. Watch your eyes. Safety glasses are a must. And good gloves. There's plenty of times where you feel like the dexterity, you may not be able to do it. Then put nitrile on, or find the pair of gloves that fit you well, that are doing a good job. Same with safety glasses. Stop people's work if you see them not wearing safety glasses. I do that, but that's also my job. So I just hate to have something go into somebody's eye because I don't want to take them to the hospital. That's really what it comes down to. So I don't want them to be hurt. I don't want to deal with it. So make sure you wear the PPE.
Because Chrissy always wears safety glasses. She's never had the joy of a piece of rust caught in your eye and under your eyelid, scratching every time you blink.
Sure.
There wasn't a hospital trip. It was just, that's like a horrible form of torture.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So my optometrist, we mentioned that I was old and got glasses, etc. He looked into my eyes and he was like, let me see what you do here. I see you do car racing on your thing. And he said, do you do a lot of wrenching? Do you do a lot of this? I'm like, all the time. Rusty cars, bad cars? I'm like, yeah. He goes, do you wear safety glasses like all the time? And I was like, all the time. All the time. And he's like, well, I guess I can skip that speech since you seem to be undamaged.
Except
and then
for
he
that
looked in my eyes.
Except
and
for
he
that
said-
time.
Let me finish this
Go
and
ahead.
then you can say it. He looked into my eyes and he says, do you not wear sunglasses a lot? And I said, I wear sunglasses all the time. He's like, I'm seeing some damage here. Chrissy,
Oh,
would you like to say?
I know what
now?
that's literally what I was going to say, except for those couple
I knew-
times where you welded without a freaking what?
Or your sunglasses are $3.
Because
Like,
you
I
step
got a
on them
box of them
all
on
the
Wish.
time.
I wear them all the
Like,
time.
You wish
Yeah, but they're
that they were
shitty.
protecting your eyes.
That time that you welded a couple times and you blinked
Just
and you
squint.
held
Just
your
squint.
hand. No,
There was tinted glass.
it's
But never mind.
killing me.
Squint
There
and
wasn't the
squeeze.
time that you
Squint
were
and squeeze.
right. That is not a thing. It is a thing, and you shouldn't do it. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Let's move
He
on.
lectured me. Go on. Driving. Let's talk about driving.
Things
Good.
to make driving fun.
Oh, okay.
Let's just I
I'm
would say
going to
let's-
jump in.
go.
I'm going first. Drive it, whatever it is you have. You can run just about anything was the title of it. Fast car or slow car fast. You can have fun on Douglas Extra Track. Talk to Randy Bish and his whatever boat class autocrossing that he's doing. Don't ever let your machine not be right. Just run it. Do whatever you can do.
No,
Okay.
a bad car is still better than not being there.
I'll go for one more and I'll finish this and then I'll jump out and you guys can talk. Protect your neck. And I know Chrissy wants to say something on this one, but just like eye protection, wear it all the time. Neck protection all the time. There's no reason to die for our sport.
I feel like you can't really go out on track without having neck protection. I'm pretty sure it's one of those things that they check. But
Not
don't
a lot of
even-
HPDs.
Sure. Yeah, correct. Right. So that's
Yeah.
but what my comment was, you remember when we used to use neck rings and we thought that that was okay? Yeah. No, we all did. Like we legit did that. And I'm just thinking about when we're talking about protecting your neck and
And
it was
there
in the
were people
article.
that were whining about that. This is dangerous.
can't
It's
turn
more
my head.
It's
I'm
more
gonna burn
dangerous
in the fire.
without it.
Amazing to think how far we've come. So from nothing to neck rings to Hans and defenders and that kind of stuff. So pretty amazing to think where we thought everything was sufficient. But yes, I agree. Protect your neck.
Totally. All right,
Go
I
ahead.
got a few. One from the article was look ahead. Now we have talked about this one plenty.
Like
I
every
will
show.
never stop saying this. It's amazing what happens when you just look up. Who knew? Look down the track, look ahead, whatever it is. It will change your world once you realize it, and then you're still going to struggle with it pretty much forever. Yeah, we all do.
That's a euphemism
Okay.
for life, though, man.
Yeah.
Anticipate.
So
Yeah.
says the one who thinks deep here. Right.
Philosophy degree. Hey.
Right. That's what's happening.
Yeah, now two I'm going to lump together. One, they said run good tires and spring for good shocks too. I was going to go on the shocks one. Does everyone here remember the first time they actually put a new set of conies on a car and what it did to that car? I know I do. Mental does. Chrissy does. Like
I don't think I've ever really used conies. I've been a
Ah.
fan of some of the other
you
brands.
put the
so-
FSDs on your
Yeah.
Gray
No.
3.
Oh, that's right. I did do the FSDs. I
Yeah.
did like the FSDs. Yeah.
I think probably only because they were Micah.
Well, yeah,
No.
because we had good experience with them and you knew they were good and they would fit.
No, because you
They're-
couldn't get my favorite brands because I've used some other brands. But
Yeah.
conies are
Well, still,
great. I got no
when you
problem
put good
Yeah,
quality
absolutely.
shocks, conies, the right Bilsteins,
Mhm.
Oldens, anything like that, you put that on the car and it's amazing how much better it is versus Gabriel's or Tokiko freaking Blues that are like the worst shocks in the world. They somehow managed to have a terrible ride and poor body control for, I don't know how they do it.
I had Tokiko whites. They were all right.
They were all right.
adjustable.
Yeah.
I didn't like
But
them
just-
so much. They were just what was available.
Yeah. Good shocks just make such a difference.
Yeah.
So do that.
No, don't let
And
the
I've got-
keeper off the track, but just spend the money when it comes time
Yeah.
to upgrade.
When you're
When it
buying
comes
shocks,
time,
Yeah. Oh
buy-
yeah.
buy the- and you don't have to get the $1,500 piece of Motons or something like that, but just get something Coney-ish, it's a good quality, and they've got a great warranty too.
Yes. Yes, they do.
I sure do. All right, I've got two here that I'm adding to this driving part. One of them is a little bit of mechanical sympathy goes a long way to maintain happiness. It doesn't take much, just a tiny bit of mechanical sympathy keeps you from breaking your car. And there's very, very, very rarely an occasion where someone with a broken car is happy.
I love that.
Just that little tiny bit, like a half second slower when you shift, or do you really need to run over that curb that hard? Is 500 RPM really going to win you this?
It
Things
might.
like that.
Oh, and every
Sometimes
time
does.
right, and every time it does, you agree to tell the car, "I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
We're doing this. We'll fix you later."
Sometimes
that's-
it does, but quite often it doesn't. But little things like that, just those tiny bits of mechanical sympathy keep your car from getting broken. And if you're not fixing a broken car, you're definitely happier.
And I would argue
Totally.
the attitude of just having the mechanical sympathy, being deliberate but not violent with your inputs and your movements. I will argue that you will be faster.
Agreed.
Yeah, totally
Jeff.
agree.
I'm going to say your tires won't grease, your brakes won't overheat, you won't pop line. Like there's immediate benefits, not just longevity benefits.
You probably won't crash as much either
Yeah.
because you're all of a sudden smooth. If you look up and have mechanical sympathy, all of a sudden you're going to be going pretty quick and nice and smooth.
Yep.
Last one I've got, this is another one I came up with, is care a little less and remember the big picture with realistic goals. It's too easy to get caught up in, I must win this thing, or, I will only,
I must be the winner or I'm
Right.
not playing.
or I'm only 8th instead of 12th. Like we said before, none of us are making a living doing this. Have fun. Does it really matter if you're 8th or 12th? No, not really. Have your realistic goals. If your realistic goal is, I really think I can win this and we're going to do it because we've done pretty well. Okay, cool. That's a realistic goal. But if it's your third time out and you've only come in 40th and you're super pissed that you're not winning, no, you're not having fun. You need to reevaluate, my friend.
Yes. All right. I think it's up to me. All right. The one in there, this was from the article. I love this one. It said, thanks workers. Now there are any number of stickers on cars that say thanks corner workers, and you really should be waving at them during the cool down lap, the checkered flag. And that was what they talked about in the article, but I'm going to take it one step further. This is not just lip service to the thank you for your service, corner worker. Talk to corner workers. Talk about dying arts and dying breeds. Good corner workers, they don't even, it's like there's only one place in the country that they train them anymore. It's at Lake Erie. And you find someone, I've been working this race since blah, 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 1970 something. They can get a little okay boomerish, but they've got great stories. And if you want to dabble in this, catch Dale or Ken at a Lemons race. And heck, you don't even have to ask them a question. They are usually in the middle of a great story as you walk up to them because they have done everything and they've seen everything. It's awesome. New Hampshire, they actually have to sign up to work the Lemons race like months in advance. And if they're not like the track's favorite people, they don't get to work the Lemons race. And they like it because they come hang out. They were
Always. Yeah.
They're hurling dongs and drinking beers and jumping in the hot tubs. It's fantastic. I got to meet a lot of the corner workers at High Plains Raceway and the track owner, and they're just great people with a great attitude and a lot of cool, fun stories. And they're fun to listen to, and they genuinely appreciate it. Here, have a Coke. Hey, here, have a cup of coffee. Have you had lunch yet? These people are giving up their weekend to watch you make an idiot of yourself. Be nice to them. That's why our buddy Kurt always cooks them dinner down at CMP.
Yep. I'll throw in just a little added to this. Work. You may not be able to give up your entire weekend working a corner worker or doing a full corner worker shift, but help the organizers. If you're at the autocross, go in early and say, what can I do? You're gonna end up working a third or a half or whatever anyway. Do that part with joy because that's important to the sport. Offer to help, show up early. Don't be a dick, be a dude, whatever you got to say. The people who run those motorsports events that you like deserve not only your appreciation, but a helping hand every now and then. Back to you, Mental. Keep going.
All right. Chrissy makes fun of me for this one. Take good notes. I take notes constantly. I always have notes written down. I am always
note to self. Next time I'm at a race, notice that Mental is writing things down.
Mental writes everything down. And the reason I say this is under the theory of pedagogy, which is how you learn things. The more muscles you involve in stuff, mental, your arms, your eyeballs, everything on there, the more likely it is to be committed into the permanent part of your brain. So I take notes everywhere. I take notes when Chris talks to me about lap times, when he says, don't do these things to the car, do these things to the car. I noticed in this corner, this pavement is giving away. These things all matter, and take notes. The last thing, and then we'll move on to the next section about read the rules. I am not a rule follower. I have never been a rule follower.
Says the military man of how many years?
Right.
Right.
But I've built a career on being that guy but every time I skip reading the rules, I always regret it. And it was, I believe, Smokey Eunuch who said something like, know the rules so you know how to cheat.
Okay. I think usually cheating in racing is not the thing you should do.
But
But
If I'm not breaking the rules, then I'm not really cheating, am I? The rule book is a tool. People like to think of rules as limitations. Rules are tools. And if they, usually it says, well, it doesn't say you can do it, you can't do it, kind of a deal, and that's fine. But there are plenty of ways to exploit an advantage of how rules are written. And for a lot of people, that is a ton of fun.
okay.
most of them are called lawyers. Yep.
Facts.
All right. We
All
ready
right,
to
so-
move on?
We
Yep.
are. So
Cool.
the last chunk of this from the article, it's literally just, it's titled Living, which, it's something that we're supposed to be getting out of this thing. There's a whole lot of buzzwords about quiet quitting, quiet achieving, quiet firing, whatever you want to do, but we're all trying to just live our lives, have fun, and enjoy what it is we are supposed to be creating in this world. And the first thing out there is get out and see the world. And I think that all of my friends here, and if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you are at least to a degree an adventurer. We all were a little jealous of our friend Gentleman Dave. While we were all locked down during 2020, he was out driving everywhere and learning how to cook in a single pan and making these gourmet meals and just seeing the world out there. But if you bring it back to just motorsports, love racing. I love driving more than I love watching, but I have learned a lot by watching. I've had a great time by watching, and just going to an event and enjoying an event, autocross, drag racing, your local dirt track is always hilarious. Get out there and see some stuff. The next point that they wrote in there, and this is the infamous quote from Bill and Ted, and they even acknowledge it, is be excellent to each other. We've said this before. These are your people. These aren't your enemies. This is your tribe. These are the people that are enabling you or helping you, or if you've got no one to compete against, you've got no one to beat. So at least, show them the respect of someone else who enjoys the same things that you do.
Don't be a dick, be a dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Came up again.
Right?
Yep.
Where are you, Matt? You out there? Go
That's
on.
because it's a good quote.
Yeah.
Good words to live by.
I've got a couple that I added to what they had. One is say yes to adventures instead of finding excuses.
Love that.
If you can make it work, go on the adventure. Try to find a way to make it work, not as opposed to, well, I have this thing and just go. If no one gets hurt much, then it's a good story. No matter
And
But-
scars are fun.
Right.
As long
Sure.
as they're not too big. Yeah.
Chicks take scars. Pain is temporary. Get out there and do it.
All these
Stories are
guys.
forever, right? Yep.
It's from a movie somewhere. I don't remember.
Yeah.
where.
It's good. And the next thing is keep your project list realistic or it will own you. That's not fun. That's not a fun way to live.
Mic drop.
Getting to work on the car versus having to work on the car.
And there's always
Yeah.
going to be times to have to, but when your project list is so long that you feel like you're doing nothing but working on things and it just becomes stressful, then it's not fun anymore.
I feel like we've been there.
I've totally been there. That's why
No,
you
we've
keep saying,
been-
I want a Miata. And I say, no, I have too many things to maintain already.
I know.
Yes, but if you
Uh-huh.
get a new Miata, you won't have to maintain it. You can scream warranty.
Then I just have to go to work more to pay for it. Oh well.
True.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to that thing when we talked about keeping clutter. I do love to see possibility in everything, but I fall down that rabbit hole and I end up with all these wonderful, well, when I'm done with this, it's going to be X. And if I ever got the time to do that, it'd be great. But when you try to do everything, you can't do anything. Not fun. Jeff, I like this.
Cool.
Take us home.
Yeah, here's two, and I don't want to. Chrissy didn't select anything here, so
Okay.
feel free to comment on
Nope.
anything.
Okay.
But this is a very short part of the article, so we've all, I guess, added our own. I say find your community, and yeah, I'm the guy who builds communities at college and blah blah blah. But there's a drastically different vibe and feel with every different community, and what the vibe is in a Lemons paddock is different than an AER paddock is different than a NASA paddock. Even spaces inside the NASA paddock, the H1, H2 guys in a NASA paddock are drastically different than that's the Honda racers, which of course Chris bonds with all the time. Drastically different than the guys who are trying to set fastest lap in the different class. So you need to find where you belong. And if you're not vibing with the people who are there, go somewhere else. It's a big community, even though it's a small community. Find what fits you and have a blast.
I would think even in a Lemons paddock, there's a difference,
Absolutely.
You go over to there
Mhm.
to the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, and they've got their own vibe, and I love it. I love swinging by there and hanging out with those guys for a little bit. But it's not necessarily how I'm going to
for a little bit.
but I, it's not how I'm going to spend my weekend. But for that crew, man, that is what keeps them sane. How they do their Monday through Friday jobs.
Yeah, when they start vacuuming the paddock with the vacuum they found, and they're like they're just like vacuuming the grass. It's time to go. It's like,
Or it's time to watch.
yeah. So here's we do it all the time. There's people out there with, putting cameras in everybody's face because they're making some kind of YouTube flip. Like, cool, man, just do that over there. I'm going to be over here hanging out in the hot tub. So anyways, yeah, find your community and stick with them and have a good time. But the other side of this discussion, the other side of the same coin is don't gatekeep. And for those of you who aren't in the nerd culture, gatekeeping is when you yuck somebody else's yum. When you say you don't belong in my community because, or you're not up to my standards because you're different, or you like something different than me, so you're less than me. F that crap. The beginning of this show says it. I don't care what you do with your car, as long as you're hooning it and you're wrenching it and you're having a good time. Even if I don't understand you over-cambered fools in your Civics, and I hung out with them and I did the low car limbo thing, and I said, I can't believe we're going to do limbo and low car limbo, and what a good time I had. And just don't gatekeep. Don't yuck other people's yum. If that's what they're doing, they love their slab, let them have it.
Don't kink shame, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're all weirdos. We know it. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, you go to work and people are like, why do you race? Oh,
Why are your hands not clean? You got black fingernails.
Why do you have stickers on your car?
My answer always
Why does
is
your car sound like that?
everybody's got a hobby. Everybody's got a money suck. I could be golfing. I could be doing drugs. It's literally what I tell people at work or whoever asks.
Which in of those choices, take the drugs, because golf is just so
golf is
I mean,
terrible.
I could be racing, I could be golfing, or I could be doing drugs. Is what
Yeah.
I get at. That's usually
This
my
is just
excuse.
our chosen
Sorry,
way to
Tam,
waste
I-
time and money with our friends.
we
Everyone
have
has one.
we have our club fair that goes on, and it was literally today, and the equestrian team and the ski club both was like, Jeff, you have to come out and try our hobby. You will love it. And I said, That's great for y'all.
Oh,
And the what's the frisbee game they play? Where they
Golf.
ultimate?
Frisbee
No, ultimate.
golf.
Frisbee golf?
Ultimate. Ultimate. I'm
Frisbee's
like,
awesome.
I'm
I love
not
it.
running like that, guys. I'm
Yeah, no.
great for y'all. I got a
Shut and
desk
run.
job. I got an elliptical, and that's as close as I get.
You
Frisbee
do a lot
golf
of-
I'd be
you do
down
a lot
with.
of- yeah,
I would be probably.
When I was in my 20s, I played a lot of ultimate frisbee, and it was a hoot.
in my
before-
20s, I would run a lot too.
Before we
Not-
move on to our next part, the Hello Sweet But Terrible, I meant to do this at the beginning of the show. Last week, before we recorded the show, I received a delightful and thoughtful and caring gift from a close friend who expected absolutely nothing in return, and I failed to acknowledge it, and I can't let this go again. So I have an awesome business card
Oh, it's true. True.
that was sent to me from our good friend Jeff. And these are slick because we've got QR codes with our YouTube and our web page and everything. You put a lot of work into these, man. These are really cool.
But
Now I gotta
luckily,
go.
I only had to do it once, and then I just changed the names on it. So.
But I got this weird box. I'm like, what the hell did I
Right?
order
I said
now?
the same thing. I'm like, what's this on the table?
Mhm.
Now we got to talk to a lot of people that don't know who we are. So to give them away.
Yeah, silly
Yeah.
me,
Right?
forcing us to do things like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good.
All right. So, any other topics on how to make car stuff fun before we close
Just-
it up?
If you're not having fun, stop and reevaluate.
Mhm.
Is this a temporary, just all right, I'm in a lousy situation, but overall this is fun? Like, when you're working on the car because the motor just fell out and there's axle grease everywhere and you got to clean up all the axle grease. And it's like, well, this is no fun. But overall, this is still fun. This is just a lousy moment. Or is this consuming your life? Or is this just you're not having an enjoyment anymore? All right, well, then do something else.
Mhm.
Move along. Do something
But
different. Change.
identify what's making you miserable and see if you can pull back from
Yeah.
it or change a new hobby. And I will throw this out. Listener, what did we miss? What is your advice that you use to keep this hobby fun and entertaining for you and your community? Let us know. Drop it in the
Okay.
comments. Send us on one of our social medias. Comment on one of our bizarre posts.
Awesome.
Awesome. Does anyone have a just the tip hella sweet or just one goat? Tick, tick, tick.
I've been trying to come up with some kind of safety thing that's interesting and new. And I'm like, my
It's-
answer is like, wear the PPE. That's my,
I'll give an update on last
winter.
week's
It's winter.
if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
Does anyone remember what
Yes,
last
I still make
week's?
fun of you. What? I was just talking, what? Okay. Yes.
Okay, so a quick refresher. Jeff did not apply his handbrake.
Holy shit.
Or leave it in gear.
Didn't leave it in gear because I don't leave things in gear.
You
And
should
my
start.
car rolled out of the parking lot. And I said, I am going to retrain myself to start doing both. And this all stems from my 1993 Eagle Talon
So
TSI all-wheel drive that would drive terribly,
Vicky,
shift
Vicky and
terribly.
Vicky and I went to dinner, and I have this, just
Your new
bizarre thing.
Miata. Oh,
right.
no, go ahead.
And as I literally as I put my hand on the door handle, I tap the gear shift to make sure it's at first. I tap the handbrake to make sure it's up, and then I tap the gear shift again because I'm a weirdo. And Vicky she's like, "Do you do that every time?" I'm like, "Funny you should ask," because Jeff's car rolled out into traffic, and my loving bride of 20 years went, "That doesn't surprise me at all."
No,
That doesn't
not even a
surprise
little
me.
bit.
So the update from Just the Tip, Jeff has been attempting to leave it in gear and retrain himself, and it has not gone well, not because I haven't been leaving it in gear, but it's the startup now that I have a problem, because I clutch in, I push the start button, and I pull my foot off the clutch. Because that's what I have
Clang,
taught
clang.
myself over years. So now I have literally puppy effed the car in first gear at half the times that I've started it. I don't know what's more embarrassing. One time in 40 years,
When your
my
car
car
rolls
rolls
away.
away. or 6 times in a week, the fact that I start the car and then immediately it lurches forward 2 feet.
Are you at least backing into your stall at work, or?
It doesn't go that far. I mean, it's just, oh, Jesus.
Every day.
I would say in the week it's been 4 or 5 times.
That's a lot.
2 or 3 of them violently, 2 or 3 of them, oops, I forgot I'm in gear. Okay, so here's the question around the horn. Would you call that a success because I've been leaving it in gear, or a failure because I'm forgetting to take it out of gear?
Oh, totally success. Your initial goal was, I need to retrain myself, which you have effectively done. Now he's
just
step 2.
He's sticking his finger in
new
the
problems.
in the electric fence. Oh wow! Oh, that's wrong. This is the fence is right there. Oh,
And let me remind the folks that I have not daily driven an automatic car except for a short period when I owned a truck from the time I was like 17 to 19. For 50 years.
You've driven
17 to...
Well, you daily drove the Corvette and the truck for a while when things have been broken.
Yeah,
and-
briefly, I guess. Yeah.
All right. I use
There
the
it
parking
is.
brake on my Escalade, like
Right?
regularly.
well, we live on a hill. That doesn't help.
No.
The hill that Jeff's car
I
rolled
rolled
into
down.
my car.
I should also mention that this is New Jersey. It is flat as F.
yeah.
So
So what the fact that it rolled down the hill is
it didn't
probably
roll
not
down a
the,
hill. Literally just like
Oh,
into the...
that's probably the first time that it rolled away. It probably
Oh.
could have rolled away other times, is because you live in a place that is flat that you didn't
has no
experience. It.
hills. Has no
Mhm.
hills, yeah.
You're terrifying.
Let's talk about the next show. Mental. What are we doing next week?
Listeners, we will be a day late. And for that, we apologize.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Bill's going to be
appreciate
so
your-
upset.
I
I
know.
know. We appreciate your loyalty. Well, and that's why I'm saying it now, so my phone doesn't go off at 3 in the
Uh-huh.
morning.
Pretty much.
Episode isn't up.
Yep. It's broken.
We know
Where
that.
is it?
But we appreciate your loyalty to this one. This show is going to be worth the wait because we are having Andy Diderossi, the chairman of the Detroit Bus Company. They do, aside from just being a cool tour company, they actually do a lot of great community things. They're helping make Detroit better. He is a lifelong Detroit person. He is the guy that organized the protest for at the GM Ren Center to bring back Saturn as part of a Lemons rally. And then he has the Detroit Student Racing Team, which he's gotten high school students involved in motorsports. If you've met him at the track, you understand he is just a positive force for good and a wonderful human being. And we love that he exists. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this interview.
Yeah. I follow his TikTok and watch him get mad that people are like stealing cars and leaving them in front of his factory in Detroit.
He also had, they just had to say goodbye to their shop cat. They've done some great stuff. They're great people.
Okay.
My speaker's not working for some reason.
It
Oh,
is.
that
We can
sounds
hear
terrible.
it. We can actually
Well,
hear
it's
it.
like coming out of my phone and not out of the speaker. Look, I'll just do it without
Check
the
it out.
music.
check it.
Oh,
Check the
wow.
box. Check the
Wow.
box, folks.
Oh, now it hit. It just
Oh.
blinked.
It's all broken now.
It's all
Uh-huh.
broken now. Anyway, thank
Earl
you
of
for
Jankerton.
downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoy this podcast, subscribe, caress the like and follow button, whatever it takes. Give us a good review on whatever you watch, listen to us on. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers. Email us, everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text Mental and ask him about the tire in the passenger seat or whatever. 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter, everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook. It's all over the place. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless everything is shiny because you've listened to our podcast and you're having so much fun with all of your cars and you cleaned the bottom just like Chris told you before you wrenched on it. then just keep those wheels down.